Oh man, it's 4 p.m. You've been in the zone for hours. You finally blink, come up for air, and realize your body has slowly morphed into the shape of the letter C. Your shoulders are hovering somewhere near your earlobes. Your neck is craned forward like a thirsty turtle. And your glutes? Well, your glutes have effectively gone on strike. They've retired. They've checked out of the hotel and left no forwarding address. You look down and realize you haven't moved a muscle besides your clicking fingers since the sun was at a completely different angle. You aren't productive and you aren't focused. You're currently a victim of sedentary inertia, also known by the much more terrifying medical nickname, sitting disease. It's the biological paradox of the 21st century. We've spent millions of years evolving to roam the savannas, only to end up paying $1,200 for an ergonomic chair that helps us stay as still as the gargoyles. Welcome to the truth about the sitting epidemic, and why your brain treats a comfortable swivel chair like a slow-motion trap. In the world of evolutionary psychology, movement was the primary currency of life. If you weren't moving, you were either sleeping, dead, or about to be eaten. Your metabolism, your lymphatic system, and even your mood are all motion activated. Your body is essentially a high-performance sports car that we have decided to use as a stationary storage unit. Somewhere along the line, we traded the hunt for the spreadsheet. We've convinced our brains that as long as our fingers are moving on a keyboard, we're active. But your lizard brain is confused. It's wondering why the legs aren't pumping. When you sit for hours, your body enters low power mode. Your calorie burning rate drops to about 1 calorie per minute. Your enzymes, the ones responsible for breaking down fats, basically take a nap. In a world where we crave efficiency, we've mistakenly identified sitting still as the best way to work. But your brain actually performs worse when the blood is pooling in your ankles. You aren't just working, you're slowly fossilizing while you check your emails. Why is it so hard to just stand up? It's because of the architecture of the slump. Modern life is designed to keep you tucked in. From the bucket seats in your car to the deep cushions of your sofa, the world is quite literally hugging you into submission. When you sit, you're engaging in a phenomenon called postural adaptation. Your hip flexors tighten, your hamstrings shorten, and your core muscles, the ones meant to hold you upright, decide that since the chair is doing all the work, they might as well quiet quit. This creates a feedback loop of fatigue. You sit because you're tired, but the sitting makes you more tired because your circulation slows down and your oxygen intake drops. You aren't resting. You're technically stagnating. Your body is a river that's been dammed up by a $40 IKEA stool. Now here's where the psychology gets interesting. For many high achievers, sitting is a badge of honor. We have this irrational belief that if we leave the desk, we are losing time. This is a classic case of loss aversion. Your brain takes the 5 minutes it takes to walk around the block and treats it like a 50% drop in your quarterly earnings. But the gambler's fallacy here is thinking that time at desk equals quality of work. Research into cognitive renewal shows that after about 50 minutes of sitting, your focus experiences a diminishing return. Your brain starts micronapping while your eyes are still open. You aren't being a grinder, you're managing a perceived time emergency that doesn't actually exist. By refusing to stand up, you're actually making the task take longer because your brain is starved for the neurochemicals that only movement can provide. Like BDNF, which is basically Miracle-Gro for your brain cells, you're trying to run a marathon on a treadmill that isn't even plugged in. Now, let's address the gym rats in the room. You think, it's fine, I hit the gym for an hour at 6 a.m. so I can sit for the next 10 hours. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but science calls this the active couch potato syndrome. Unfortunately, a 60-minute blast of exercise doesn't completely undo the metabolic damage of 600 minutes of stillness. It's like eating a single kale leaf after a week of nothing but jelly beans. The math just doesn't quite math. Furthermore, we rely on the moral licensing effect. We think that because we did our time on the treadmill, we have a biological mandate to be a human potato for the rest of the day. But your body doesn't work in blocks. It works in flows. You're terrified of missing a workout, but you should be more worried about the availability heuristic of your chair. Just because the chair is there doesn't mean you have to be in it. You're suffering from a glitch where the most convenient option feels like the only option. The truth is, you don't need to become a marathon runner to save your spine either. You just need to break the gravity spell. So, how do we navigate this stationary life? First, understand the 20-minute rule. Every 20 minutes, stand up for 20 seconds. It's enough to reboot your enzymes and tell your metabolism, hey, we're still alive. Second, embrace the phone pace. Never take a call sitting down. If the phone rings, that's your biological trigger to walk. It turns dead time into active time without you even noticing. Third, the inconvenience strategy. Make your life slightly harder. Put the trash can on the other side of the room. Use the bathroom on a different floor. These micro stresses are actually micro wins for your longevity. And finally, use posture as a shield. The power of the human body comes from its ability to expand. By rolling your shoulders back and opening your chest, you prove to your nervous system that you aren't under threat. And here's a little pro tip. Your body has incredibly sophisticated proprioceptive sensors. If your lower back is screaming at you, that's your hardware sending a high priority notification. Don't swipe left on your pain. Trust that hardware. It knows when you're literally crushing your own potential. The next time you feel yourself melting into your seat, don't treat it like a relaxing break. Treat it like what it is. A sign that your body is craving the grand human dance. We're all part of a species that cross continents on foot. Sometimes life requires a desk, yes. Sometimes it requires a commute. And occasionally it requires a Netflix binge. But it's never a reason to forget why you are a creature of motion. Life is too short to spend it as a furniture accessory. You aren't a lazy person. You're a static person who just needs a little bit of kinetic energy. So stand up, shake out your legs. Do that little weird middle-aged person stretch where you groan for no reason and remember that the world outside your cubicle is waiting for you to walk through it. If this look into the heavier side of sitting helps you find your feet, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Here, we're a community where we talk about the stuff that everyone feels, usually in their lower back today, but nobody mentions. I'll see you on the next one. Stay upright, and for the love of your glutes, keep moving.